So ironically, this is my first NBA topic pretty much of the Ben Garcia Show campaign. We're going to talk a bunch of NBA directly after the Super Bowl is over. But let's start with the NBA trade deadline hitting today. Today is Thursday, February 8th when I am recording this. And I just have a few thoughts. The New York Knicks made some moves. They made some fantastic moves. They went and got Bogdanovic. They went and added a couple of other key pieces. And people are starting to get a little too high on the New York Knicks. It's not I'm a New York Knicks hater. I am a firm believer that in this league, you need a superstar, a top 6 to top 8 player in the NBA to win a championship. I like the Knicks. I think the Knicks are well ahead of schedule. Tom Thibodeau has done an amazing job with this team, although it's kind of the same thing that he has done each and every year with these teams. He plays them a ton of minutes, he grinds them into the ground, and in the playoffs, it tends to then start to hit a little bit of a downward spiral. OG Anunoby was an awesome pickup. They got rid of guys like RJ Barrett. But the reasoning why I'm not taking the New York Knicks to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, the reason why I'm not picking them to win an NBA championship is because of who their best player is. I'm not anti-Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is a phenomenal basketball player. Jalen Brunson this season is having career numbers. It has just been insane for him. He left the Dallas Mavericks. He's on the New York Knicks, now has a crazy good contract now, 27 points a game, 6.5 assists, about 4 rebounds, but splits of 48, 41, and 83. Those are really, really good numbers. The problem with the New York Knicks, one, they don't really have a number 2. OG Anunoby, probably a lower-end 3, maybe a middle-of-the-road 3. Julius Randle, one of those guys who's a little hit and miss. We know he's had some injury history in the past. He's going to be out for a little bit again with an injury. And then Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is an elite player, and he's a 1. And he's probably in the conversation of the best point guard in the NBA. At this point, is he better than Steph Curry? I don't know. But Jalen Brunson is a 6'2", 190-pound guard. What have we seen over the past couple of seasons in the NBA championship? Who holds rings? Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, LeBron James. Go out through the history of the NBA and who are the guys that are hoisting trophies that are getting rings. It's bigs or guys like Magic Johnson who are 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" guards leading teams to championship titles. Pau Gasol and Kobe Bryant. The issue with the New York Knicks is I just can't get on board with a player like Jalen Brunson with a small frame of 6'2", 190 pounds leading you all the way to the championship. You have to be a dominating physical beast specimen of a person, and you just look at the history of the NBA. This is not me picking on Jalen Brunson. I'm not sure which reporter it was, but basically said he's just a little small. He can't be a top 5 player in the NBA. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I completely agree with that assessment of Jalen Brunson. That's just basically what the NBA has been. Name a player outside of Stephen Curry, who is the greatest three-point shooter of all time, who has ran this league, who has won multiple rings. You can't name them. So if I'm just going to go with history here, I'm going to have to say that Jalen Brunson's probably not going to run this league either. I think this team would have been great if they went after Pascal Siakam. Who knows? Maybe they didn't want to give up the trade assets for it. I get it. It cost a lot. And the Indiana Pacers are a team that doesn't get many free agents, so they kind of have to swing and sometimes miss or sometimes hit a home run with the trading market. They've done it with Tyrese Halliburton. They've done it with Pascal Siakam now. The New York Knicks are just right now a great team, a phenomenal team. But I can't take a guy like Jalen Brunson to lead them to an NBA title, not because he's a bad player, but because the history of the NBA says if you are not a big, if you are not a physical specimen, if you are not a big guy that can run downhill and run dudes over on the way to the cup, you won't win titles as the best player on your team. It just doesn't happen outside of Stephen Curry in the last 20 years. This is what the league has become. And that Warriors team didn't even become a dynasty until Kevin Durant joined them. And what's Kevin Durant? A nearly 7-foot elite jump shot shooter who can also get to the rim. Jalen Brunson, there's nothing wrong with him. He's an elite player. Is he a number one? I think so, but probably a 1B. But in those off shooting nights in the playoffs, what do guys like LeBron James, like Nikola Jokic, like Giannis Antetokounmpo do? They get to the basket, and that is just hard to do as a sub 6'3", 6'2" guard like Jalen Brunson. It's not Jalen Brunson hate. It's just honesty. He is a very, very good player. No hate here. He should have been an all-star starter this year. But I'm just not so sure he can carry a team to an NBA title.